Welcome back, everybody. It's Car and Driver Radio. I'm Alan Taylor. Today, broadcasting from SEMA. That is the Specialty Equipment Market Association trade show. It's in Las Vegas, only open to the business. That means if you're in the car business, you're probably here right now. But if you're listening to the show, you're not, because you weren't allowed inside, but you are on the inside with Car and Driver Radio. Our show brought to you in part by Subaru. Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Thanks to our friends over there. I am Alan Taylor. Joining us now from the Tire Industry Association is Kevin Rowling, Senior Vice President of Training. So what do you do? What do you train? I mean, come on. I don't know how to even ask a question. What do you do?
What do I do? The Tire Industry Association represents tire retailers and service providers all over North America.
Okay.
And my job is to create and develop and produce training programs so that they can teach their technicians how to properly service tires on all types of vehicles.
You know, what's funny is tires and all these fancy big wheels, and I remember I've always had wheels. The first car I ever bought myself, you know, the first thing I did, put fancy wheels on it. And then the more fancy the wheels got, the more you had to be careful installing the tire. And, you know, it's like I've seen many a rim get destroyed by a guy who didn't know what he's doing. So is that what you're talking about, the installation of the tires, or is it the person talking about one tire's attributes against another? So explain better.
We're more on the installation side. We're trying to make sure that technicians are properly, installing the tires on the rims and then also installing them on the cars. I think that's the other side of it that people forget, is that it's not just getting the tire on the rim without destroying the tire or destroying the rim. It's also getting the wheels stay on the car. Wheel offs are an incredible problem out there for the industry, and if it's not installed...
What do you call it? Wheel off?
Wheel off, yeah. The actual wheel in the tire comes off the vehicle.
You mean rolling down the road and there it goes?
Pretty much, yeah.
I had it happen one time.
Yeah, and
Scary thing.
If it's not properly installed, that's not an uncommon occurrence.
Really, why is that? I mean, just lug nuts, not torquing them, or what?
Well, it's improper torque. It could be that the surfaces weren't cleaned. It could be that components were damaged, threads were worn, lug nuts were worn, wheels were worn. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that could cause that wheel to come off. And if the technician isn't aware of all those factors, then the likelihood's going to increase.
My friend Charlie from J.D. Power and Associates, who was just here a few minutes ago, he tells this story about how he was coming from Idaho to Los Angeles in a 66 Oldsmobile station wagon, and he had two lug nuts left holding the wheel on. He said, I felt a vibration. I never knew what it was. And then he finally looked, he goes, I only got two lug nuts on,
Yeah.
So, I mean, this happens all the time. You see a wheel laying on the side of the road. Where'd that come from?
Well, and on car tires, it's more of a property damage and more of just a nuisance type issue. But when you're talking about truck tires, a truck tire weighs 200 pounds.
Right.
And when that comes off of a truck and it hits an oncoming vehicle, it's like stepping on a pop can.
Yeah. Well, it's literally 200 pounds at 60 miles an hour is probably the equivalent to, 2,000 pounds, whatever because it rolling mass and everything.
Yeah, I've actually seen some of the aftermath of some of these accidents, and it looks like, the Jolly Green Giant just stepped on the car. It really is that type of damage.
When the wheel hit the car.
Yeah, when the truck tire wheel hit the car.
Oh, the truck. Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine. That's what they say.
It's pretty scary.
So, when did this all start up? The Tire Industry Association.
Actually, it's the merger of two associations that have over 80 years of history.
Gotcha.
We actually were formed in 2001 when those two organizations came together.
Was that about the time of the debacle with Ford and all the rest?
Yeah, it was right about that same time. It was quite of an interesting birthing of the association from that standpoint. So,
well, I mean, hey, listen, it's bad things that happen that lead to reasons to fix them, and then associations get put together, and that's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah, it really is a statement for our members from the standpoint of they're investing in the education of their employees, and it's not cheap and it's not easy, and it really does make a difference in terms of how those tires are going to perform.
So what is the message to the public?
The message to the public is maintaining the tires is the most important thing they can possibly do. The two key elements, of course, are going to be inflation and rotation. If a tire is properly inflated over its lifetime and if it's rotated over its lifetime properly, then you're going to get the performance and you're going to get the mileage that you'd expect out of that tire. But if you ignore those tires and you just expect them to perform and wear and run forever, they won't.
That sounds like my wife. She says, you're overinflated, roll over. Rotation and inflation, right?
Yeah, those are two of the main things.
Get away from me, you're heating me up.
Pretty much, yeah. It's one of those things that consumers only worry about tires when they go bad.
It's such an important thing, and I've been for years you tell people you got to have the right air pressure in your tires. You feel like you are saying this thing over and over again, being on the radio.
Yeah.
The tires lose 1 pound a month.
Yeah.
They change from, winter to summer because of the outside air temperature.
Absolutely.
All these things affect the tire. And I say you get sick to yourself saying, am I going to say this again? But it's got to be reiterated over and over because, we don't know who's hearing us or if it's sticking this time. But, hey, that tire is your connection to Mother Earth,
Yeah, and it's only going to get more expensive. I think that's the other thing is that, you got to understand that a tire is comprised of two main raw materials, natural rubber and oil. And both of these, commodities are getting more expensive. And as energy costs go up and everything else, consumers are going to start spending a lot of money on a set of tires. And, you're going to buy 2 or 3 more sets of tires over a lifetime of a vehicle if you don't maintain them properly.
Well, if you want more information, we can check out your website at
www.tireindustry.org.
So tireindustry.org, and our show brought to you in part by TireRack.com, revolutionizing tire buying since 1979. Research, buy, deliver, install. My friend Matt Edmonds is going to be on with us next, right here from Tire Rack. Thanks for being with us, Kevin.
Thank you, Alan.
All right, we're going to be right back from SEMA. You want to know about tires? Well, the guy who coming up next probably sold more tires than anybody on planet Earth. We'll be right back. It's Car and Drive.